It's thinking. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Military Mondays. For those of you who do not know who I am retired Major Brenda Sanchez, and I am the co-author of the best-selling book, Life's Real Currency, with my husband, Michael Sanchez. And I bring to you these Military Mondays every single Monday morning at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. I know we're a couple minutes behind today, only because we were having technology problems, but please tune in every single Monday morning at 8 a.m. to learn a little bit about the military, maybe some veterans that have their own business, or spouses or children of military. I like to highlight different business owners that have served in our country. And today I have the honor of having Lisa on. Lisa is the child of two veterans. Her mom and dad both served, and Lisa is helping transitioning veterans, spouses, when spouses need to be able to take a career with them from place to place and follow their military service member. And she also helps, obviously, those like myself who are already retired, and maybe you've been retired for a few years or many years and you're sick and tired of doing government work or something else and you haven't found your passion. Well, Lisa can help you find your passion. So thanks so much for being on today, Lisa.
My honor to be able to say thank you, not only to you, but to several generations in my family and all of the active duty servicemen and women and retired veterans, because I always like to say thank you and say my family's freedom is because of all of you and all the generations before. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you and what you do for the military community. I met Lisa through networking, most recently through Polka Dots, but Lisa and I met a while back. I'm trying to remember exactly where we met, Lisa, but it's been a few years since her and our paths first crossed, but we now are members of Polka Dot Powerhouse here in Colorado Springs. And if those of you who watch regularly, yeah, say that 3 times fast, regularly, remember I had the managing director of Polka Dots on last week, and she got talking about Lisa and how she helps transitioning vets. So,
and an interesting fact, Brenda, I actually was brought into Polka Dots by a military spouse of,
oh, cool.
Yeah, of an Air Force man from Palo Alto, California. So I wasn't even recruited by, I was, but the person who brought me was from California, and she is an Air Force wife, an Air Force spouse. So I thought that was interesting too, how Polka Dots and the military, right? They kind of are across the nation and international.
Yes, and I was just going to say, it goes to prove that those that are in the service are good networkers. So
boy, are they ever?
Yes, so they make good business owners, which is a great transition. But before we get to what you do for the military members or their spouses or veterans, I'd like to know, or I'd like my audience to know a little bit about you. And both of your parents served, so you're the child of a veteran, and I don't get to interview the children of veterans very often. And you have a unique perspective because you didn't choose the military, you got born into a military family. And so what's it like being the child of two veterans?
Well, I think first of all, it gives you an appreciation for the altruistic things in life that matter so much, that it's not about making money. You know, we always knew that my father was protecting freedom and basic human rights for people not only in America, protecting citizens, but also that he was protecting it in other countries when someone or a government was oppressing others. And sometimes we forget that not everybody functions the way the United States of America does. So first of all, we always knew that this was a higher calling and that what they were doing was above and beyond, right? Business or making money. And we all supported my father. And he had been inspired when he was 11 years old, when all uncles came back from World War II and talked about the Army Air Corps. He was fascinated. And from then on, at 11 on, he knew he wanted to be, at the time, in the Army Air Corps, now, of course, the Air Force.
Right.
Now, we moved. I moved 13 times before I was 18. I was born in France. Before that, my brother and sister got to live in Germany. Then we also lived in Okinawa. Lots of fun memories from Okinawa, scary ones too. You know, and then moved all over the place in the United States. And it's hard to move. However, you know, there's something special about a military family. You become resilient, you become adaptable. And when I say my mom served, I want to make sure I say that. I always say that the spouse serves.
Right. Thank you, because I say that also.
Okay. So see, my mom not only served as a military mom. Well, you can't really see her there, but she served.
Yeah, you can.
So this is my mom in Corpus Christi in about 1967 or 68, serving at the Corpus Christi USO.
Nice.
And then here is my father the same year, pilot, and flying in Laos. At the time, we know we were there. Now we do.
Now we do.
Yeah, now we do, right? So anyway, but my mother was a military mom, and I always say she served, and she even got Air Force wings from South Dakota, right?
Nice.
Ellsworth, because they take care of the family, because they get, you know, courage and all these wonderful awards of valor. Because the time when my father was in Vietnam and he didn't serve once, he went back over additionally because he felt like he was a professional soldier. And all the time he was over there, they never talked. She only got reel-to-reels, those old reel-to-reels.
Right. We didn't have cell phones or anything like that back then.
And she was not allowed to know where he was. And every time we moved, my mom made that home in 2 weeks. She turned those base houses into a home within 2 weeks, and she worked hard at it. And so I always say that the military spouses serve, and to all the military spouses listening, thank you. Because the family, right, the husband or the wife, the serviceman or woman, they are protecting all of us, right? Our freedoms, they're protecting us from oppression. And those military spouses are taking care of that family, which lives on into eternity. So both of them are serving a higher good that moves on to eternity. So, and I like to, these are some of my mom's pens. Got to show some of this stuff. So this is the 5th bomb wing. And
cool.
I don't even know what's going on with SAC anymore. I don't even know if it's around. Of course, I said her wings from South Dakota when they were in Minot and Ellsworth. This is the mighty B-52. I mean, that incredible flying machine that's been around for how many decades, Brenda?
A long time.
Oh yeah, my father flew those for decades. and then the B-1 bomber, which he flew towards the end. So it was, having a strong mom and a strong father. We always had that home, and that's why I'm saying, we learned adaptability, we learned resilience. And the other thing that's really neat is we learned so many parts of this wonderful nation and other countries. And it gives you such a wide view. And you see so many different ways of going towards life, how you live. You see different groups of people that really, are rich and diverse. And it makes you have a thick skin, because you gotta always break in. And, I know nowadays people talk about, bullying, and it's serious. But I gotta tell you, in the 70s and 60s, my mom and dad taught all of us kids how to fight, because kids will test you. And we move so much. And in hindsight, I'm sure that would have been bullying, but we just fought back, because there are always kids, girls and boys, that are gonna, test your limits. And so we all learned how to fight, and I know how to fight dirty. So Brenda, don't ever get, but you do, but there's so many benefits from it. I mean, we have seen so many parts of the United States. I feel like America is my home. I feel like we are a great nation. I think we always need to be reminded what a great nation we are, and that we live ideals that other countries dream of. Mm-hmm. People from Nigeria, I work with people all over the place, and they are astounded at the rights we have in America.
Yes, we are very lucky to be living in America, and I want to say thank you to your family for serving. And because your dad served in Vietnam, yesterday was the Vietnam Memorial Day, National Vietnam War Remembrance Day. And so I want to thank all those veterans that served in the Vietnam War. We couldn't do what we do today. We couldn't have the freedoms we do without our forefathers and brothers and sisters and uncles who have served before us, and those that are currently serving. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that was so hard, the Vietnam War, but still we forget the oppression and the terror that people were being subjected to. And America said no, and it did not end the way we wanted it to, but we took a stand for what was right. And that's America, right? And I also have to give a big shout out to my maternal grandfather. He was a CB. He actually helped to prepare the way for Midway.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. So for all of those that are not military watching, because I have some people who have no connection to the military, tell them what CB stands for.
Well, the CBs were actually, they would go ahead of time, and they were master carpenters, and they would actually get in there and start building all of the different, good gosh, what would you call it, Brenda? They built everything that was needed for all of the troops then to come in.
All the infrastructure.
Yeah, and so they actually went in ahead of time, and they didn't have as much protection. And it's got this bee, with this big old stinger coming in all, that's their emblem. And I've got his buttons. I've got, his buttons, different things like that. So yeah, but they would come in and prepare. And he was a master carpenter, and I loved him. He's wonderful. But that's what the CBs are, and they're very proud. Well, everyone's very proud.
So transitioning to what you do now, because of your heart for the military and truly understanding military life, and like you said, spouses do serve, and they have to pick up and start all over again every 3 to 5 years, depending on their career field. And when they do that, they start at the bottom of the barrel if they're in a traditional job. And there are so many other options out there. And that's one thing you help families with, to find their passion, and then you can set them on the right path. So you have several different things, and I want you to explain, because I know that what you offer isn't just for the end result of having a business. You may find out that something else is your passion because you have a whole process. And so can you talk to the audience about that and how you can help spouses and maybe transitioning military?
Absolutely. So, you know, I am in the possibilities business. That's what I always say. And I'm the owner of the Entrepreneur Source, and it is a franchise. The Entrepreneur Source has been around for 36 years. And they work with people that want their own business, that think they might want their own business, but maybe they need to learn. It's very counterintuitive, and that's what drew it to me. So I visit with people during times of career transition. So it could be desired, right? It could be like a spouse saying, I'm tired of my resume looking like a bingo card, because I move so often, and people go, what are you? It might be them saying, I want something that I can build and not have to mess with all of that. It could be a veteran in transition, right? It could be a retired service person who's like, I want to do something of my own. But what we do is we help people learn about, in a really educated experience, an adventure. Military people love adventures. We learn about what's most important to you through a handful of conversations, and we do it virtually. So right now, my business is going strong. I didn't have any hiccups due to the current climate. And what we do is we get to know you really well. We really want to find out what you want out of this next season, because we believe that that's the purpose, right? And then what we do is, if it makes sense that you want to be a business owner, and if franchising is a good way to go to business for you, then I take all the great information you shared with me and I pick a handful that make the most sense. And we have really great relationships with about 200 leading businesses. And there's so many different ways to go to business. People only think with their eyes what they see on the street. And that's 20% of the 3,500 franchises in America, right? So I help you really whittle it down, but we whittled it down to what you want to achieve out of life, okay? And then we go on an educated journey, and it's all about you learning in a self-directed way, self-paced way. There's no pressure, there's no obligation, right? I'm all about discovery. And our goal is clarity. It's not on you going into business, or it's not about you investing in a franchise. That's not it. It's about clarity. Is business ownership right for you, right? Is franchising right for you? And if so, is maybe one of the franchises that we selected based on your purpose, what you want out of life, your goals, your needs, your expectations, right? So the product I offer is clarity through education, awareness, and discovery. And that's what makes me really excited about this, because I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a broker. I don't sell anything. I offer an experience for them. And through it, you're going to really clarify what you want out of that next career direction. And then we have all of your goals laid out so that as we look at different options, you can hold them up, your unique requirements, to those franchises that we look at, or business models. If along the way you decide that you get clarity that it's not right for you, you're grateful. My clients are grateful because of the experience, but it also has put an option on the table that about 72% of the adult population wants. 72% of the adult population wants to be self-sufficient, right? So at least they looked at it, and that makes them feel empowered. So that, it's a very counterintuitive experience. Most people are like, you do this, right? You do this, what do you get out of it? Well, first of all, I get out of it offering you an option so that you make a choice and you don't feel like you're at the mercy of a company giving you a job offer, right? So why the military? Well, first of all, military men and women, they come out of their service with some of the most robust leadership and management skills of anyone I've met, right? And sometimes they still want to be making things happen. And so franchising might really be right for them. What about military spouses? My mom was wicked smart in financing. That's what her degree is. She loved helping people. She loved helping people budget, invest. She loved taxes. But we moved almost every year and a half.
Wow.
We moved almost every year and a half. And so I actually ended up going to 3 high schools, 3 total states. So, and she always wanted to work, but, you know, she couldn't because we moved so frequently, but also because she loved, right, the partnership she had with my father. And as he began taking on different command roles, right, she had a job. She took care of all of the families.
Awesome.
All of the families underneath his command. I mean, we had people in and out of the house. She took that very seriously. She nurtured families. She nurtured us. She nurtured other families. She took that role seriously. So what options are out there for the military? There's so many, you know, and so many franchises are actually owned by veterans. And the franchising community is very, very grateful for veterans. So many different franchise opportunities, right? They have that strategic command. They've got that vision, right? That is already built. They've created an entire system, right? And all you have to do is take all that self-initiative, self-discipline, and tap into it and make things hum, right? So, and I'll tell you about Eddie in a second. Eddie is a veteran that we work together in. He actually now owns an Express Employment in El Paso, Texas. But what about the military spouses? My mom, right? If she had her own business through a franchise, there are ones out there that have no territory. You can work with anyone in your circle of influence, and the Air Force has a lot, but also you can pick it up and take it with you. And all you have to do is relicense with the state. You never miss a beat. You don't go back to zero, like what you're talking about. You continue to build in your new community, right? So there are so many ones also that are home-based, right? So for military spouses that perhaps want to continue taking care of the family, but also have a business. There are some out there that are part-time, right? There are some out there that are virtual, like mine. So for the military spouse, I think about my mom. There are so many now that I know about that my mother could have invested in, right? It would have been her company. She, though, would have had support, right? She would have had ongoing training support and reinvestment in technology and continuing to keep it cutting edge. Every time she moved, she would take it with her. She would not lose any of her clientele because it was virtual or it had a no territory. She could take it with her, relicense with the state. And as I said, there's some that are part-time, and she could have continued with taking care of all of us. She would set her own schedule around what was going on. Let me tell you a little bit about Eddie. I love Eddie. His name is Edward Lee. He was in the Army. He served 23 years. He's from Pennsylvania, but ended up in El Paso, loves El Paso, Texas. He loved the community, decided to retire there. He was out for about a year. He had incredible leadership skills and management skills. He had almost 2.5 decades of experience, right, in making things happen on a pretty wide scale, basis. And he could not, the company he was working for did not pay him for that equitable service. They just didn't see it, right? Okay, so we started the journey, and he was really nice. He kept saying, when is the other shoe gonna drop? When am I gonna find out what you really get? And I just kept saying, Eddie, the only thing I want from you in the end is I want a recommendation from you. And, we showed him Express Employment, which is, I believe it's 40 years old, very well-honed machine, runs very efficiently. And he now owns Express Employment in El Paso. We talk every other week, and he's making his own way.
Nice.
His, earning potential is only going to be capped by whatever he desires. And he's using all of those skills. And for our military veterans that might be retired, I say, don't even buy into this myth out there that, you're too old, you're going to cost too much, you're going to work for me for 5 years and leave me. I say, don't even go in that house. Just build your own house and use all of that. I call it career capital.
Nice.
Yourself and your family, or create a legacy.
I love that. Career capital. I'm going to have to remember that.
Yeah.
Military does. They have so many skills that they don't realize, soft skills especially, that they don't give themselves credit for. They don't see, because it was just a part of who they were for so many years in the military, that they don't see it as an asset. And it is definitely an asset.
Yes, it is. It is. And my girlfriend that recruited me from Palo Alto, California, she too owns an entrepreneur source, and she specifically did it so that each time they move, she can take it with her.
That's cool. See, I didn't even know. Lisa and I had a conversation. We had a one-to-one through Polka Dots, a Polka Dot Connect.
Yeah.
And I knew she did franchises, but I didn't realize that there were so many different models out there, part-time, ones that you could take with you as a spouse from place to place and not have to start all over again. And so I wanted to have her on today because I think there is a lot of misconception out there about what a franchise is, and there are all different levels to get in of a franchise, very low investment to very high investments. And Lisa can help you navigate that and what is best for you based on your financial situation, but not just financials. What are you passionate about? What do you love doing? That's what Lisa loves to find out and to dig in and figure out what's best for you. And if franchising isn't what's best for you, I love that Lisa's like, bless and release and give you other resources and other places you can go to explore your passion, whether that be a job or something else.
Yeah, because I believe ultimately I believe our slogan, which is your success is my only business. Okay. I want all of my clients to be successful, and whatever that choice is. I worked with SCORE, right? SCORE is the mentoring arm of the Small Business Administration. Great chapters on the Front Range, great chapters across the Front Range. And so if you decide that you want to go into your own company, I got a friend in SCORE.
Yeah.
Virtually, very robust. People don't know they're 56 years old.
Wow.
Free, completely free business coaching, everything from you want to be it all the way to you're in it and you need some help. So I had a friend from my previous professional life. She and I had several conversations, really starting to hone into her goals and her needs, really clarifying it. And we decided together that she really wanted to start an HR consulting company. And she was in Wyoming, up in Laramie. And so got online, found our contacts from SCORE up there, got her hooked up, and literally 2 months later, she started Modern HR LLC.
Nice.
Some people don't know that we have a very robust innovation team here on the Front Range in Colorado Springs. I believe it's the Catalyst campus.
Yes.
In Pueblo. We have Southern Colorado Innovation Link, and their whole goal, and they have a huge federal grant, and their whole goal is to initiate, so many patents, so many manufacturing contracts, and all they're doing is they want to help innovators take those ideas and get it as far as they think they can get it. And they, all these really great people to help you with that. So I've had some people that said, I've got this idea for a medical device. And get you in touch with Southern Colorado Innovation Link. So I always believe in nurturing people's dreams. And the good news is that my services are complimentary. They're absolutely no cost except your investment of time, no obligation except some focus, and keeping an open mind.
Yes.
There are so many ways that you can achieve your goals, but if you say, I can only be here, then your horizon of opportunities has shrunk. When you say, I want to be home-based, flexible, and be able to take things with me when I move, your horizon is this wide, right? So, that's what we do, because the community of businesses I work with, they're partners. I don't work for them, I work with them. They reimburse me if and when someone goes into a franchise. However, that never hits my clients. And it's not my driving force, because I am solely an advocate for my client and what's best for them.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Lisa, for being on. I know we could talk probably for hours.
I love the United States and the military. Thank you, and the spouses.
I'm sure Lisa, I've already tagged her in the post. She'll put her contact information below. And if you'd like to connect with her, just reach out on Facebook or LinkedIn and connect with her. I'm sure she would love to have a conversation with you and explore what might or might not be a good fit for you in business, or maybe business isn't right for you and you need to stay an employee. She can direct you to the right resources there also. Thank you again for your family's military service, Lisa. I really appreciate you, and I look forward to getting to know you even more over time through our polka dot connection. So
me too. And thank you, Brenda. And thank you for how you pour into the military also.
Thank you. I appreciate it. For those of you who would like to stay connected with me and would like to know about past shows or upcoming shows, here's a teaser for next week. I have the CEO of a company that's going to be on next week, who is a veteran. So just a snippet. You'll want to tune in next Monday at 8 a.m. Mountain and see who that is. Last week was Jen Draper. If you would like to know who's been on and who's coming up in the coming weeks, I would love to connect with you at militarymondays.info. So militarymondays.info. Put your information in and I would love to stay connected with you. And with that, I will see everybody next Monday on Military Mondays. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.